Hi, Neil here from neilcurtis.me. This is another video guide, and I'm going to show you exactly from the very start to the very finish how I created this website. This is a simple landing page that is set up to tell people what's coming soon with neilcurtis.me while I'm working in the background on new guides, new content, and new information that I'm going to have ready for the launch. But for now, while this is a very simple, quite clear page, there are a few nice elements. There's an integrated contact form, so you can put your name, email, and you can get updates, so you'll be subscribed to an email list. I'll show you how I did all of this. And then on the central column, you'll see there's some logos, and those link to some websites that I've developed and work on. And when you hover over the logos, they pop out and change color. So I'll show you how I embedded them and made this happen. And they link through to the relevant pages. So this is Turbo Bike Trainer. It's all about turbo trainers, so you can use your bike indoors. So I created this site, so I'll show you how I did this site from start to finish later on. And also on the right hand side is just an image of me and a bit of information about what I do, so it lets people know what this site is about and what's coming up soon. This is quite a simple landing page. There's nothing too complex here, and you could easily build it using the free default themes in WordPress that you can get through the dashboard. But I actually used something known as Genesis and the Genesis framework and one of their child themes. And the reason I did this was because I actually had their package, because early on when I started developing websites, I was looking for lots of different high quality themes, and I discovered Genesis and bought them, and just happened to use one of them to create this landing page. So if you want to get some more information on Genesis, go to StudioPress, and it's studiopress.com, and they're the people that develop this. And you can get more information about the Genesis framework and how it works just on their site. But the main reason why I did it was because of the whole host of child themes, professional standard themes that you could choose from. So you just download one of these and install it on your WordPress site, and you can use it. So they're all up to the highest standards, the latest web standards, and they're updated regularly, and they've got support and guides and tutorials, and there's a forum, so you can get any help you need. So that was the main reason I chose the Genesis framework. This Metro Pro theme actually uses on quite a few of my sites now because I really like the layout of it, and it's quite a new theme. And this is actually the child theme I use here on neilcurtis.me to create this very simple landing page. We'll go ahead now and we'll start building it. I'm going to show you how I created this website on a local server that runs off my actual computer. And so I set up XAMPP that runs Apache MySQL, so I can install and run WordPress from my computer without the need to go onto the internet. So this means I can leave my current site live while I develop a new site just off my computer. And I'll show you how I did this in a past tutorial, so you can have a look at that. So if I just got a local host, neilcurtis.me, it just loads up the standard default WordPress install. So nothing's been done to this. This is just WordPress has been installed, and this is what you come up with. And you'll see if I navigate to the XAMPP htdocs file on my computer, there is a folder there called neilcurtis.me with all the WordPress files in it, and that is what we're pointing to when we go to this local host. You see I've got XAMPP control panel here, and I've got the Apache MySQL running, which is what you need to be able to run things locally off your computer. And as I said, I have a special tutorial that shows you how to do this from the very beginning. So we'll log into our dashboard in WordPress. You just go into the web bar and type in wp-admin, and you come into the default login. So you just type in your username that you set when you set WordPress, and your password, click login, and that takes you through to the dashboard. And this is a newly updated WordPress 3.8. It's slightly different to the older version, but it works exactly the same. Just the styling of the dashboard's a bit different in the colors, but it all works the same. So we just need to go to Appearance, Themes, and you'll see this is some of the default installs. There's a new 2014 WordPress theme there. But we need to add new, and go through to upload, choose file, and navigate through to where I downloaded my Genesis themes. So first off, we need to install the Genesis framework. Then we need to add the child theme that I've also downloaded to add on top of that Genesis framework, and that is a Metro Pro. Just install that, and then we activate it. And then there we go, you can see the Genesis framework and also the new child theme there. So just go to the front end and you'll see we've got a simple layout there that looks somewhat similar to what I've got up there as my landing page at the moment. So obviously there's a lot of images on that live site, and I've got a folder here with all of them in. I'm not going to go into how I created those images here, but I will do at a later date. So what we need to do first is go into the dashboard of our site and clear out all the default pages and posts that always come when you do a fresh install of WordPress. So we've got a hello world post, we'll just trash that. Then we'll go into the trash folder and just get rid of it completely. And then we'll do the same with the pages. And there's always, again, a sample page in there when you install WordPress, so we'll trash that and then go and to the trash folder and get rid of it completely again. So this just means we've got a nice clean WordPress with nothing on there, ready to go. I'm going to log into my live site just so we can see what pages and things we've got on there, so we can copy and recreate that in our new site. So just log in and go into the dashboard and have a look in pages. And actually all we've got is 2 pages, one called Join Me and one called Sign Up Welcome. We'll go into our site we're creating and go new page just from the menu bar at the top, and I'll create a page and call it Join Me and publish that. I won't put anything on it yet, just creating the page. And that's done. So then I'll add another one, and it was called Sign Up Welcome. So I'll add another one. It's called Sign Up Welcome. And I'll publish that too. What we want to do now is set the home page to be a static page on our site, because by default it displays posts. So we just go to Settings, Reading, select the front page as Join Me, and then click Save Changes. And when we go to the front end, you'll see we've got the Join Me page here, but of course there's nothing on there. And if we look over at our live site, you'll see there's no big Join Me letters there, because by default WordPress shows you the title of the page or post, but you want to get rid of that. And it's quite easy to do. You've just got to add a small bit of code to your functions.php. So I'm going to navigate here to where I'm hosting my WordPress site on my computer, because remember I'm doing this on a local host. You would have to FTP in to your files if you were on a host on the internet. So I'm just going to go through to the child theme and then go to the functions.php file and edit it in a text editor. And just go down to the bottom. And I'm going to post one line of code and save it. And if you're not used to modifying the functions.php, you don't need to be scared. It's quite easy. And if you do make a mistake, you can always go back and delete it later. So now if I refresh, you see that Join Me disappeared because we've said don't show page and post titles. Let's show you where I got this code from though. This is another good thing about Genesis, is that it has a lot of support. So if we go to the StudioPress website, we've got a special snippets page which has got lots of code snippets that you can use. So I'm just going to search here for the word title just to find the code that I used, and it's actually this bit of code here. And you see this is the exact bit of code that I've just placed in my function, so I just copied that and pasted it, and then I got rid of the title. Next we start adding the content to the site. So it's probably easier if we start with this part on the right, because that's actually just the primary sidebar widget area. So we'll go ahead and do that now. We'll just have a look in at the live site to see how it's all set up. So it's appearance, widgets, and it's a primary sidebar. And you see we've got a text widget in there, which is default widget in WordPress. We've got a load of text and an image. So we'll go through to the new site we're setting up, go down to appearance and widgets, primary sidebar, and there's obviously nothing in there at the moment. So we'll just drag a standard text area in there and then head over to the live site. I'm going to copy the title. And then I'm not going to copy the image, but I'm going to copy the text just to speed things up a bit. We click auto paragraphs and save. If we go over to the front end, we'll see we've got all the text there in the sidebars rather than that default text that was in before. So now we just need to go and add the image. And I find the easiest way that I like to do the images is just actually to go into create a new post and add media straight into the post, because this adds all the image tags to it by default. Just add media, select files, and I'm going to select this image, me. And then I'm going to go to link to, I'm going to say none, I'm going to say size, I'm going to say full size, and this is quite a big size, 1000 pixels wide, which is too wide for the widget area. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and have a look at the width there, and it's 330 wide, and that's actually the width of the widget area. So I'm going to just go in and edit this 1000 to 330, the height. I'm just going to copy all of this code. I'm going to go down to my widget area where I want to paste the image. So open up that widget area and then just pop it in there right at the top. And go down and click save. And then there we have it. That's the whole right hand column. So if you have a look at the live site and then the new site, you see they're identical on the right hand side. So if we go back to the live site, the next things we have to do is we have to put in the sign up form area and also the central column area that holds all of those links and all those icons. If you go back to the site we're developing, this is everything on the left hand side is basically this join me page. So we've got to go into there and edit it, and it's going to write 2 lines of text. One will represent the sign up area and one will represent the central column, or the column that's holding all of these logos. So let's go ahead and update that. Then I'll open this in a new tab just to see what's happened. And there you'll see there's 2 lines of text I just put in there, and they're stacking below each other. That's because we haven't done any formatting yet. So what we need to do now is we need to create 2 divs. One's going to be left-hand div, one's going to be the right-hand div. So we'll create the first div, we're going to call it sign up container, and then put the closing div brackets. And we'll create the next div, and we'll give that an ID of central column container. And I'll also give that some closing divs. So there we have it, we've got 2 divs now on this join me page. So I'll update that. And I'll refresh. Nothing's changed. And the reason nothing's changed is because even though we've created the divs ready to go, we've not actually styled them. And we can go into appearances, editor, and we've got this styles sheet. And this is all the styling for the whole of the website, the whole of the child theme we're using. But I prefer not to do the edits in there. I actually prefer to open up the actual text file from where I'm holding all my WordPress folders. So this is a child theme that I'm using, the Metro Pro, and I open up the style CSS page. And this is exactly the same as what was in the other one, but it's just easier to format this and easier to save and delete things without going in and saving and updating your website all the time. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to create a few headings, a commented out headings. So these aren't going to be read, so these aren't going to affect the formatting, but this is just to make sure everything's laid out nicely, and when we come back later we know what we've added and where we've added it. So just create a landing page formatting titles, and also I'm going to copy that and create 2 more titles. I'm going to call this a sign up container formatting, and then the last one I'm going to call this central column formatting. Okay, so these don't do anything, it's just so everything's laid out nicely, so when we come back later we know what things are. So under the sign up container I'm going to create the hashtag which refers to the div, and I'll copy the div name just so we've got no typos, so there's no problems. I'll paste it, I'll put open and close brackets ready for the code we're going to put in, and I'll do the same for the central column hashtag, and then this div's called this, so we'll copy that, we'll paste it and put open and close in brackets. So now we're ready to go to type in the code. So we need 2 divs that split the screen into two. So we'll put a width of 45%, and I'm going to set a min width of 280 pixels. So that means when the screen gets squashed, even though it's 45% of the screen, if it reaches 280 pixels, it stays at that width, so it never gets smaller than 280 pixels. And the reason I've put 45% in, not 50%, is because later on I may need to spread things out, put a bit of padding in, so we've just got a few percentage room to play with. So let's copy that exactly the same into the central column with 45%. Now refresh it. You'll see nothing's changed. And the reason nothing's changed is because we haven't set any alignment or floating. So I'm going to say float left in both of these divs and save it. So now we're saying we want the first div to float left on the screen, and we want the next div to float left relative to that. And because they're both 45%, they can both fit in next to each other. So we have both of these divs side by side. But you see, if we shrink the screen, so this is looking on the mobile phone, you see that the divs, when the screen gets too small, they push and stack up against each other. So it's nicely laid out for when we're looking on mobile devices. This is exactly what we wanted to do. Of course, we don't just want those sentences. They're just there for as a whole for now. And what we're going to do is we're going to work on this central column first, where we've got all these links. And I'm going to put in some links to the different websites that I've been working on. So I'm going to type in Turbo Bike Trainer, then I'm going to highlight this, and I'm going to insert a link to another website. So http turbobiketrainer.com. And then when you click on this, I wanted to open up in a fresh tab, so I'll highlight that. I'll give it a title of Turbo Bike Trainer. This means when you hover over the text, it'll show this. And I'm going to add the link. Let's update this, and we'll have a look at how it changes the website. Let's refresh this. And you'll see in the central column now we've got that link to Turbo Bike Trainer, and I'll click it, and it opens up the website. We'll go on to the next one. We'll just copy the link that we did before for Turbo Bike Trainer, and I'll just paste it 3 times. And I'll just edit the HTTP link. So the next one is ski instructor courses. So we'll go into the HTTP, just delete that. I'll type in ski instructor courses, .com. And then I'll change the link text to ski instructor courses. Okay, so the next one on the list is CTOP. Again, we'll change the HTTP to CTOP. This is .co.uk this time. I realised I forgot to change the heading of the other one. So the title of the is CTOP, and the link text is CTOP. And I'll go in and change the title of ski instructor courses. I'll just copy that. Okay, so the final one, anyone left, is snowpursuits.co.uk. And then I'll go in and give it the correct title. So when you hover over the link, it'll say Snow Pursuits. And I'll copy that and paste it as the link text. Just update, and we'll refresh the page. And you'll see now we've got 4 links to the different websites. Hover over the link and it shows us the name, but obviously on the live site, we've got a nice logo and you hover over it. So we have to do that now. So we'll just go into new media, and then we'll find our image of a logo. We'll open it. And then what we need to do now is we need to style our text link with some CSS. We need to put an ID in it. So I'm going to click the ID homepage projects TBT for Turbo Bike Trainer. And that's just a name, it can be anything. So I'll copy this name and I'll go into our style sheet, and then we'll go down to the bottom, and then we'll start writing some styling code, CSS code in here. Got the open and close brackets, and then we'll set the image as a background. So you just type in background URL, and then we need to put in the URL of that media file we just uploaded. So you can find it out quite easily. We just go into our media library and then just click on it. You can click edit, and then this is the file URL, so we just copy that and then I'll paste it into our style sheet. And then it's good practice to write no repeat. It won't do it here anyway, but you can sometimes get a tiling effect of your image in the background, but if you put no repeat, it stops this from happening. So we save that and we just refresh our page, and you'll see now we've got a little bit of the logo showing up behind the Turbo Trainer text link, but not all of it, because what we need to do is we need to display it as a block, but we also need to set the height and the width. And I know these values. It's 201 pixels wide by 139 pixels high, and it's easy to find these dimensions again. I'll show you that in a minute. And we write display block, and then if I just save this and we have a look at the site and refresh the site, we now have the full logo showing up. There's just a couple more things I want to do with this particular div. I'm going to float it left because it's easier to control padding and margins later on if you define an alignment. And also, you don't actually want the text showing in the text link. You want the link, not the text. So a way to get rid of this is just do a text indent minus a large number. So 9999 pixels. And this basically just shifts the text off to the left by that many pixels. And this is standard practice in this kind of thing. And if we refresh it, we've now got a clean logo floating left without a text link showing. So the next stage is we need it to change when you hover over it, because at the moment it doesn't do that. And this is pretty easy to do. We just copy this whole div because the div name's the same, and we just type a colon with a hover after it, and this defines what happens to this div when you hover the mouse over it. And all the parameters are the same in this div except the image that we're going to show when you hover over it. So that's all we need to do now. We just need to go and upload some new media, upload that grayed out version of the logo. Select it, then upload it. And if you click on edit, you can see the URL of the file. So we just need to copy that and then go into our CSS for the hover and then replace the original URL link and save that. Then we go through to the web page and refresh it. And then when we hover over the image, it changes color. But obviously you can see it's supposed to be grey to start with and then go bright green when you hover over it, but it's the wrong way around here. And that's really easy to fix. We just need to replace these background links from the hover to the non-hover and vice versa. And then this should fix everything. We'll just save it and go over to the site and refresh. And now we see it starts off grey, hover over it, turns a brighter green and pops out just like a live site. And if you click on it, it links through to where it's supposed to. Okay, so all we need to do now is do exactly the same for the other links in the site. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add all of the images all at once this time instead of one by one. So I'll just open up a folder with all the images in that I want, and then I'll just select them all and drag them into the file upload in WordPress. So we'll just click on the library there and we'll be able to see all of those files that we just uploaded. So the next stage is we need to link those images up to the text links for the different sites that we created before. So I'm just going to copy the ID that we did for Turbo Trainer. I'll paste it into the other three links. And then I'll change the end, get rid of the TBT and put SIC for ski instructors, CTOP for the CTOP, and the final one, SP, that'll point to snow pursuits. I'll just update that. I'll go through to the style sheet And again, most of the styling is going to be the same, so I'm just going to copy what we did for Turbo Trainer and paste it 3 times. And then go up and change the ends like we just did before when we specified the IDs. So SIC for ski instructors, C top, and finally SP for snow pursuits. Okay, I'll just save that. So what we have to do is we need to point this background URL to the correct images. The first one is ski instructors. Go through the media library. You want the grayed out ski instructors logo. Just copy the URL there. Go back to the style sheet and paste it into the correct place. And then the dimensions of this logo are different to the Turbo Trainer one. So if we go back to the media upload, we can see the dimensions there, the width and the height. So I'll just modify the width and the height here, ski instructor courses div, and then you can do the same for the hover image because the dimensions of this are exactly the same. And then now we'll go ahead and get the URL for the hover image. And the hover one's a brighter ski instructor courses logo. Just copy that URL and then paste it in there. And now that's done. So we need to do exactly the same procedure for the other 2 logos. So I've sped this up 5 times because the procedure is identical to what we've just done. Go through changing the dimensions of the divs for the correct logos and also changing the background URLs, what it's looking for all of the logos. Okay, and that snow pursuits is the final one. We just save that. Go over to the site. We can close that down now because we're finished with it. Just refresh. And there you go. We've got all 4 logos looking nice there. And when you hover over them, they change color and pop out just like they should. And if you click them, go all the way over to the site. And these sites that I'm clicking and showing you now, I've developed them all, and over the course of the next few weeks and months, I'm going to show you exactly how I created all of these sites, just like I'm showing you how I created this one here. So the next thing we need to do is we need to put a heading above these logos. So I'll just go into edit this page, and in the central column container, I'll just type in, see how I made these websites, how they make money, and what the future plans are. I'll update that and refresh the page, and we'll see those words are in the right place, but obviously they're the wrong formatting, they're not big enough. So we'll just put a div around this, give this heading some special div of central column heading, closing div tag, and then update that. I'll copy the name of this div, and I'll go into the CSS style sheet, and I'll create some new styling for this div, such as hashtag, the correct name, and then I'm going to put font size of 24 pixels, and this is the right pixel size. And I know this because obviously I created the original site, but it was just a case of trial and error when I did it for the first time. Refresh the page, and there we go. The font's got bigger and it's the right size, but you can see the spacing between the lines is far too big. So let's go ahead and modify that in the CSS styling. Line height 30 pixels, and again this was trial and error at the time. Save it and refresh the page, and it's tightened those lines up, and if we compare to the live site, it's right. We just need to do a little bit of extra formatting of this column just to put it in the right position. So if we go up to the central column container, I just need to put a bit of a margin left of 8% to push it across a bit. Save that and have a look. Site and refresh it. That's pushed it across, And if we compare to the live, it looks in a good position. Just need to do a little bit more formatting of the logos, space them out a bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a div around all of these logo links, just so they group together and we can control them as a group. So I'm going to create a div ID of homepage projects holder, closing tags, copy that name and then update it, and go into the style sheet and then create the styling for this div. So I'm going to give it a width of 100% and I'm going to float it left. I'm going to put a min width of 280 pixels just so it doesn't get too small when we squash the screen. And I'm going to put a margin top of 25 pixels and a margin left of 5%. Again, this was just trial and error when I was creating the site in the first place. Update it, let's push them across. Not quite right yet, just a little bit of spacing is needed between individual logos. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go into each of the styling for each of the individual links and put a margin top of 10 pixels. I'm just going to paste this same one into all of the hover coding and also all the other link coding. I could have just created a new div and put this in there, but it was quite quick to do it this way, so it's okay. Refresh it and let's space them out and compared to the live, and it's exactly the same. The next thing we need to do then is we need to add this form on the left hand side, and I did this using a plugin called Gravity Forms, which is actually a paid plugin, but it's got a lot of advantages over other free contact forms. Let's go to plugins, add new, and I'll find the plugin that I downloaded in my folder. Just install this and activate it, and now you'll see on the left hand side we've got a tab for forms. So we'll just click that and we'll add a new form, and you can call this whatever you want, but I'm going to call it sign up email. Just click create form. And it just launches a simple form builder. So we've got two fields. We've got a first name and an email field. So I'll just click on the right hand side, single line text, and it puts in this field, and I'll just call it first name. And I'm going to click required field and then go to advanced and click email to put in an email field. And again, I'll make this required. Just update the form. And we'll go to the home. And then now we just need to put this form into the page. So I'll just put it in there. But actually what I need to do first, I need to refresh this page. So I'll just update. And now you see we've got that add form button there. So I'll just click that, find that sign up email form that we just created. I don't want to display the name or the description, and it's gone in the wrong place because I didn't put it. So just cut it and paste it in the right place and update. So let's refresh the page and the form's in there like we want. The formatting of the form isn't right yet. We've got some small things like the letters are capital and that submit button has different text, but that's really easy to change. We'll do that now. So just go into forms, click on the form, and I'll just edit these fields quickly and get rid of that capital and put it lowercase, and the same with the E. And actually I'm going to make this say no duplicates either, so that means we don't have duplicate emails being input. We go into form settings and just go down to where it's got the button. And then you see it says submit, we just change that to get updates. And save it. If we go back to the screen, you see that's changed. We've got the lowercase and it also says get updates. But obviously the major problem here is the size of these input areas. And again, this isn't too hard to change. We just need to add some CSS coding, just like we styled the rest of the site. And we need to target the text fields of these forms. So what I'll do is just so when we come back later, we know what everything is. I'm going to copy this commented out heading and just paste it there, and I'm going to give it a title of Gravity Form Formatting, just so we know what things are later on. Now we need to put a little bit of CSS styling in here, and Gravity Forms is good, like Genesis was. It's got a lot of help on the internet and a lot of code snippets. So we just go into Google and search for Gravity Forms formatting, and then there's loads of help out there, and I'll just click on this one here. And what we want the CSS code for the text fields. So there it is, text fields, and it's actually this middle one here that we want. So I'll just copy that code, go back to our style form, paste it in there. And then this example that we just copied is actually looking at the border and changing it to red. We don't want that, so I'll just delete that code. And we actually just want to say width 100% to make these input forms the full size of the div that they're in. So I'll just save that. And before we leave this, I just want to see it's got this wrapper ID of 1, and that actually relates to the ID of the form, and that I'll show you in a minute. So refresh this, and you see those input fields get bigger like they should. And I'll just quickly show you. So if you go to forms, we've only got one form in there, but it's got an ID of 1, which has been targeted by that code. So we could have several forms here with several different IDs. If you had several forms, you would just go into the CSS and put in a different ID number if you wanted to change the attributes of different forms. All that's left now is this bit of text below the form. What we'll do is first is we'll add the arrow. So we just go add media, upload files, find the arrow pick. And then this time I'm going to float it right. I'm going to have no link to it and make sure it's full size. Just update that. Go and have a look at this site homepage. And there we've got a massive arrow, and that's too big. So if we look at what we want, it's too big. So we just go in and change the width and height to values I know it should be. So update that and refresh, and it shrinks down. So next we need to put in the words, so stay updated, and launching soon with some great content to help you build your own websites and businesses. Just update that and we'll have a look. The text is in the right area, but it's not formatted, so we just need to put a couple of divs in here and do the correct formatting. So we'll put a div here with an ID of sign up text. Let's close that div. I'm also going to put a div around all of this area below the form, just so we can format it all together. So I'm going to give this an ID of below form text and close the div there. Let's copy that name and update it. Then go through to the style sheet and put some coding in. So go up to the area for our sign up form, put hashtag, and then I'll get ready for the other div that we created, which is the sign up text. And again, I know these values, we've done it before, but it was trial and error when I first did it. So I want to give this a font size of 24 pixels. And then in the whole form area, I want to give it a margin top of minus 20 pixels just to move it up a little bit on the screen. And I'll just save that and go through and refresh this page. And there we go. It all looks exactly the same as the live site. But we're missing this grey line here, just a little divider line. So I'll just go and create that. So we want a divider line here. So I'll just create an ID div of divider line and just close it because it's self-contained div. Just copy that name and update it. Go through to a style sheet, put some CSS styling for this divider line, and it wants to be width 100% because it wants to be the whole width. You just have a border top. It's going to be solid, 8 pixels, and this color reference. And we'll give it a margin bottom 20 pixels. I'll tell you why in a minute. Then we'll clear both just to make sure it's on its own line. Save that. Go through to the site, refresh it. And there we go. We've got a nice grey thick line, the same as on the live site. And if I shrink this just to show what it looked like in a mobile phone, you'll see it's all styled nice, and we've got the divider line, and there's a gap before the next set of text, and that's why we put that margin in at the bottom. So let's make it big again and just directly compare to the live site. So almost done. All we need to do now is put that "Let's Build Some Websites" text in the header. So this area next to the name at the top, that's actually a widget area. So if you go to Appearances and Widgets, see there's a header right at the top there. So we just need to put a text widget into there and just type in the words we need. So let's build some websites. And I'll save that. Go over and refresh it. See the text goes in the right area, but it's not formatted yet. So like we've done a lot of times, we'll put a div here and give it an ID, tagline, and just put some closing div there. We'll just save that first. And then head over to the style sheet, then go right down to the bottom. And I'll just copy this, comment it out, title, heading, and I'll call it tagline, formatting. Okay, hashtag tagline, and then open and closing brackets. And in between them, we'll put font size of 36 pixels. Margin top 6 pixels. And also font style of italic. Save that. Head on over and refresh. There you go. Compare it to the live site, it's identical. So it's just about finished, but there's one last thing I remember. At the bottom here, there's a default WordPress stroke Genesis stuff, and on the live site it just says copyright neilcurtis.me. And to edit this, we're going to install a plugin called Genesis Simple Edits. And this is another great thing about Genesis, is it has all these plugins that work with it and can do some pretty cool stuff. So we'll install that Genesis Simple Edits and activate it. Once activated, if you go into the Genesis tab on the left, there's a Simple Edits area, and this is what's in there at the moment. So we just delete that, keep the copyright, but then we'll type in neilcurtis.me after it, and I've deleted the dot, so I'll just copy it from there. Okay, then save that. Look at the site, and at the bottom we now have copyright 2013 neilcurtis.me, exactly the same as the live site. So that's the look at the homepage all sorted, but there is actually another page. Remember at the very start we set up 2 pages, and if we have a look in the live site, we can see we've got a sign up welcome page, and there is some text in it which is held between the div. And if we have a look at this page, there it is. All it is this is the page you get once you sign up for the email list, just to say thanks for it, and also let you know that you'll have an email that you need to confirm coming through. So if we go into the site we're developing now, we've got this sign up welcome page because we created that at the very start, but it's got nothing in it. So I'll just copy the text, but I won't copy the div. And I'll update that. And then we'll have a look to see what it looks like. So there it is, but obviously it's different. So there, this is a full width, there's no sidebar, whereas here there's a sidebar, and also it's got the wrong dimensions as well. So if we go down, and this is all part of Genesis, we've got all sorts of different layouts here. So we just click the full page layout, click update, and that'll get rid of that sidebar that was there before. As you can see, but it's far too wide compared to the other side. This is why we need to put a div around the text. So let's create the div and call it center text. Put the closing div tag there, copy that name, and I'll update the page. We go to the style sheet and just create the hashtag center text. I'll copy this commented out heading, I'll call it welcome page formatting, and then I'll just put a width of 80%, and I'll put margin 0 auto, and what this does is it centers the div on the page. So if you have a look at it now, you see it's centered and it's a lot tighter, but it's not quite as small as the live site. So we'll go in and change that 80% to 70% and see how this looks. Go back and refresh, and there you go, it's the same as a live site. So we can go ahead and close that now, go back to the home page, and that's the layout and everything completely finished. But we just have to go in quickly because we haven't actually said to show this welcome page to people when they fill out the form. So just go into the form, and then if we go confirmations, we'll see the default is to show a message that says thank you. So we'll just click, we want the confirmation to be a page, we want it to be that welcome page, and we'll save that. And that's it. So now when someone fills in that form, it'll go to that welcome page afterwards. If we look up the top here in a live site, you see there's a pinky N, but it's just got the default Genesis icon in there. We can easily change that. So if we navigate to our child theme in our Genesis theme, just open up that theme, and there's images, and there's a fab icon or fave icon in there. This is what this is. So we just delete that, and I've created one before, so let's copy that and paste it into the images folder, and I'll go through to the Genesis as well in the images folder and delete the fab icon in there, then paste my new one in there too. And if I refresh the page, it probably won't show up. No, it hasn't. So I'll just try it again. But it is there. You've got to trust me. And a good way to get it to show most cases is to go into your settings and empty the cache on the internet. And if I go through now and refresh it, you'll see the N there. Okay, so the very final thing we have to do is link up the email sign-up form on the website with an email client. And the one I've used and I've used for a long time is MailChimp. So that's at MailChimp.com. It's very good for this kind of thing. I recommend it if you're looking for something to handle emails. So I'll just log in. And then I've also got an extra level security, so it sends me a message which I have to verify to log in, just to make it a bit more secure. So if I go over to the lists, you see I've got a whole host of lists for lots of different sites to work on, but I've set one up for this guide called neilcurtis.me, and there's only one subscriber in it if we look, and that's me, because I tested it out earlier on my live site. So if we go into the settings, we can see the fields we've got. We've only got two fields, an email and a first name, and this will be auto-populated by a form because we've got the same two fields in a form. So now what we have to do is we have to go to our Gravity forms, and if we have a look at add-ons, you'll see a whole host of third-party websites that Gravity forms integrate with, which is why I do recommend it. One of these is MailChimp, which is great for us. So I've actually downloaded the add-on before, and you can install it as a plugin. So we'll just go and upload it there, and it's this zip file. I'll just activate it. So now if we go to the Forms tab, you'll see we've got a MailChimp link now. So I'll click on that, and we have to do a little bit of setting up first, just to link up Gravity Forms with MailChimp. And you actually need to go and get an API key from your MailChimp account. So I'll log into MailChimp again. Should have stayed logged in really. I'll get my code to my phone, which I'll verify. And then if you go to your account settings, and then under extras is API. So I've got a few set up here for the different sites I work on. So it's easy to create a new key. Just click on create key and it's done. And you can recall it something else and just copy that code. But I'm actually going to use another one I set up before earlier, neilcurtis.me. So I'll copy that API code, paste it in there and save it. And that's it, done now. The Gravity Forms and MailChimp are now talking to each other. So we click MailChimp, add new, and then you select the list from MailChimp that you want to use. So it's neilcurtis.me. And then you select the form on your site you want to use, and that's the sign up form on the site. Then you have to just match up these. So the email field in MailChimp, I want to link up to the email field in Gravity Forms. Then the first name, obviously the first name in Gravity Forms. Click double opt-in, so you get a verification email if you sign up, and then click go, and that's it, done. So now MailChimp is linked up with the Gravity Form. So we'll just test it out. I'll put my name in, Neil, and I'll put in private email address and click get updates. And then we see the welcome page that we set up before. So if I go and have a look at my email that I just put in, we'll see at the top, new email, and that's the verification double opt-in email that we said we were going to send out. So just click yep, subscribing to the list, and there we go, we're on. It's a new email sign up. We can just go back to the website. So I'll go and have a look in MailChimp. Again, I logged out and I shouldn't have, but I'll just quickly log back in. And then I'll click on my lists, select the right list, and now you'll see there's two emails in there. So that's a new email I've just signed up with, and you can click on it and it just tells you a bit of information about the person when they signed up, etc. So yep, that works all fine. That's great. So there you go, completely finished. Hopefully you've learned some nice new tips, and if you choose to do so, you can create your own version of this website. I went through the guide from the very start to the very finish. If you head over to neilcurtis.me, you'll see this video along with some more information, and also as time goes on, I'll be creating more videos and adding it to this page, showing you how to do things like make all the logos and all the graphics that go along with this website. Cheers and have a great day.